What's good, people? It's been a minute. I'm back. You see the title. It's another Draft League video. It's my week 4 versus Yasha, coach of the MK Mimikyus. It's been a minute. I've been through a lot in these past 5 months. Some for the better, some for the worse. That's for another video, though. I just want to say I'm glad to be back. Shout out to Wakeman for letting me back into the GLDL. I'm off to a pretty hot start. I'm 2-1 at the moment. Looking to make it 3-1 after this video, or after this match, I should say. We do not have an easy schedule whatsoever. Not even in the slightest. Wakeman and the mods did a pretty good job stacking this division. The other division is pretty scary too, but I'm actually playing in the Empoleon division this season. So they broke it up into 4 different divisions: 2 for non-max, which is Series 8 rules, and 2 for Dynamax, which is Series 7 or Series 9 rules. It's the same thing. So, anyways, a little bit of a different view on the season. I think it's a pretty good idea, and it pretty much meets everybody's requirements for the league. Because some people wanted max, some people didn't, and I feel like it's the best of both worlds. So, shout out to Wakeman and the mod team for making that happen for everybody, and I'm sure everybody's grateful to be in the league. So. Anyways, enough of the yada yada. We are off to a pretty good start. Like I said, 2-1. The first week, just a quick little recap, because I haven't been able to do an actual video. I've just been swamped with work, and swamped is an understatement, by the way. So, anyway, so week 1, I played Joey, coach of the San Diego Sandacondas. I lost 2-1 in a pretty close set. Game 1, he outplayed me in the end game. Game 2, I had a pretty good lead and I took advantage of that. And then game 3, his prep outshined my play, and it was just a matter of time before I lost that game. So I lost my week 1 in a close set to Joey. GG to him if he's watching. Let's see. Week 2, I played Toby, coach of the Chicago Cub Foos, and I won 2-0. It wasn't really that. How do I want to say this? It was not an easy set, but Celesteela made it easy because the Mon is just broken. I feel like the team I drafted is pretty good, and it centers around Celesteela super well in more ways than not. I just have so many options, I think, and I think it's hard for everybody to prep for it, which is kind of what I was aiming for. I appreciate all the nice words, by the way. People who did PRs, they tend to rank me pretty high, so they have a lot of faith in my team and me as a player, I'm sure. So I just want to say I appreciate all the nice words everybody's given to me since the season started and before the season even started. So just thank you to you guys. Let's see. So he had a pretty tough team. Took me a while to prep for that match, and I came out with a 2-0 victory, which was pretty nice. Really helped my morale after that week 1 loss because Joey's a new coach, and I wasn't really sure what to expect with him, and turns out he got the better of me, and he was a pretty damn good player. I'm pretty sure he's undefeated to this day, so I feel like that's a decent loss to have. I shouldn't have been down about it, but the win over Toby really helped my morale. It really helped me settle in and realize I can actually win a lot of games in this league. Anyways, enough of that. Week 3, which was last week, I played Rolo, coach of the Mass Magikarps, and he had pretty much the best team in the league. He had this Dragapult, Clefable, Cobalion, Meowstic team. Pretty crazy synergy across the board. He's been wrecking people with Vileplume. I just feel like I had a decent matchup, and the matchup made me shine a little bit more than I should have, I think. Pretty RNG-less game. That's how we like it. We don't like winning by RNG or losing by RNG. We like winning by playing good and outplaying and outprepping the opponent. That's how I like to win. I really don't like how RNG affects the game, but it's the game we played and it's the game we love. So, anyways, so as of right now, I am 2-1 with a +3 differential, I think, before this game. Which is pretty good. It's a lot better than I thought I was going to be based on the schedule. I know Toby's a good player, and I know Rolo had the best team, and I didn't know what to expect with Joey. So I very well could have been 0-3 sitting right now, but I feel like my team is just, I think my playstyle really gets elevated with this team. Speaking of the team, let's just get right into the matchup. So right here is the matchup this week. So as you can see, my team is, I don't think I've actually fully shown my team on my channel before. So the team is Celesteela, Tapu Lele, Raichu, Politoed. That used to be Pelipper, but I changed them out to Pelipper out to Politoed. For a lot of different reasons. I won't really say what those are, but I'll just leave it at that. Ludicolo, Thievul, Sock, Stoutland, Duosion, Heatmore, and Sudowoodo. That Heatmore used to be Whiscash, but I traded Whiscash out for Heatmore, just added Fire type. And then Yasha's team is pretty ridiculous, I should say. Like, the amount of offensive threats I had to account for when building was just, it was not very fun. Let me just say that. So, Tapu Fini, Bronzong, Tapu Bulu, Sableye, Luxray, Kommo-o, Magmortar, Armaldo, Piloswine, Dugtrio, and Fletchinder. So, going into this matchup, I kind of know how the majority of his mons operate most of the time. I actually almost drafted Armaldo, but it got sniped from me. It was going to be in place of Stoutland, but Yasha kind of sniped it from me, and I really wasn't considering it like all that much, but it was absolutely like one of my top options for that slot. And Yasha has just been wrecking house with Armaldo. I think before this game it had 8 kills, 0 deaths, and those 8 kills came within the last 2 weeks. I don't think that Yasha brought it week 1, so they've just been wrecking house with this Armaldo pick, and it is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool mon. I feel like it would fit good on my team, but alas. So anyways, so the main thing that I looked at when I saw this team was Ludicolo kind of just does what it wants, at least on paper. So you look, you don't really see too many resists to water plus grass plus ice at all. But the only mon that could probably take a hit is probably Bronzong from a boosted or like a rain boosted Ludicolo with Swift Swim and Life Orb. I originally was going to bring Helping Hand on Politoed, but I decided to put Rain Dance on instead, because I know that Sableye can switch the weather on command, as well as maybe even Magmortar using Max Flare. I feel like that could have been an option too, into my Celesteela slot. So the first thing that came to my mind was Rainbow looks pretty good here, so then I had to bring Celesteela because Celesteela also looks pretty decent here. Steel Flying Grass pretty much covers everything except for the Bronzong, and then I had an answer to that, which was the Rain Mode, because I don't think that Bronzong can take too many hits from Ludicolo anyway, so I wasn't really stressing about hitting the Bronzong with Celesteela, and I also had Lele with Shadow Ball, so it was only a matter of time for that Bronzong was going to die anyway. So I had good options on paper for all of Yasha's offensive threats, which includes the Fini, which he has maxed. He's maxed the Bulu. He's maxed the. I don't think he's maxed the Magmortar yet, but I was expecting either a Flame Orb Gut set from the Luxray or a like an Assault Vest Magmortar set. I don't know what his sets are to this day. He hasn't posted his paste. He, she. I don't really know their pronouns, so I'm just gonna say they from now on. Sorry. So I don't know what that set is to this day, or like as of right now, it's 8:16 p.m. that I'm recording this, so I really have no idea what the set was, but kind of a spoiler. They did bring the Magmortar, which is something that I was kind of afraid of, even with the rain mode, because of the fact that Sableye can change the weather with Sunny Day. So, and typically you see Sableye on like a Sun team with like Charizard. I think that was like a thing in Series 7. For the majority of the time, it was Charizard Sableye was pretty common, because the Sableye can just change the weather on command. And the fact that it gets Rain Dance and Sunny Day is actually pretty cool for this team, because Armaldo can take advantage of the Rain Dance, which Yasha has done in the past this season, as well as the Fini can take advantage of it too. So anyways, that's pretty much it. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I feel like getting these thoughts out is really fun for me. I feel like adding another perspective on a matchup can help a lot of people, even me watching back these videos, because that's one thing that I do for improvement. I kind of get all my thoughts out and then come back like maybe a week later and realize like, hey, maybe this wasn't the best choice, or hey, like maybe this is how I could do better, or hey, this was really good, we should probably try and improve on that, or not improve, but like build on that. I feel like it's more beneficial to me than people think. So it really helped me last season, and that's why I do it. So that's why I do these videos. Sorry I haven't done those, by the way. Like I said, I've just been swamped with work and a whole lot of shit. So that's basically the matchup. I'm bringing pretty cool Celesteela set. I'm running weakness policy with Volt Switch Raichu. So the goal is just to Volt Switch out with Raichu onto the Celesteela turn 1, most likely, and then bring in the Politoed and or Ludicolo, and then I had Psychic Seed, Lele for Calcs, and then I had leftovers support-ish Stoutland with Intimidate for the Bulu, the Luxray, the Como, and the Armaldo, which all kind of threaten the Celesteela in one way or another. So anyways, that's pretty much the matchup, so let's just get right into the match. Alright guys, I'm back. So as you can see, Yasha brought the Armaldo, the Luxray, the Magmortar, the Sableye, the Tapu Bulu, and the Tapu Fini. So here's the thing, Celesteela pretty much goes in here, but also Ludicolo does, and I really wanted to try out the Ludicolo, so I was kind of flipping through whether I wanted to go the Celesteela Raichu route or the Politoed Ludicolo route, or maybe I could have led like Ludicolo plus Politoed or Ludicolo plus Raichu, then swapped in the Politoed. I was just trying to think through, but I ended up going with the Ludicolo Politoed lead with Celesteela Raichu in the back. I thought that was pretty safe. Just maxing Ludicolo turn 1 based on the lead matchup. So let's just get right into this game. I was pretty scared for this matchup, not gonna lie, because a lot of things could go wrong really quick, and Yasha is not a player I would tend to sleep on. So they lead Tapu Fini Luxray, which is kind of decent for me. I have Lightning Rod Raichu in the back, which is something that I actually really enjoy having on this team. I think it's really sick. So Misty Train gets set up, Rain gets set up, pretty sweet. So now Ludicolo, I'm EV'd to outspeed everything on his team, even some Scarfers. I won't say which ones because I want to reveal my spread, but I basically just switch out Politoed into Raichu here, just to try and get the Lightning Rod support going, as well as the Eerie Impulse charm that I have on it. So I'm pretty sure I just maxed Geyser into the Luxray slot here, because it OHKOs most Luxrays. If he's AV, I don't think it does. If he's max HP, if he Dynamaxed it here, he lives. But I was just trying to go for as much damage as possible, because you can't really touch this Ludicolo without hitting it with an electric move. So that's why I brought in the Raichu, just in case. Worst case, he maxed guards, but it's okay. So you see the max Geyser go off here, and nukes the Luxray, which is pretty sweet. So I was actually expecting him to max the Fini here, but he actually just goes for Light Screen. So you can assume that it's Light Clay based off the Light Screen, but I wasn't going to jump to conclusions here, because that's the last thing you want to do in like a pretty tough matchup like this. So at this point in the game, I'm in a pretty good spot. I have the Raichu support along with the Dynamax Ludicolo and the Rain. So the one way he can stop it here is the Sableye. It would pretty much put me out of commission for the time being if he went for Sunny Day here, because then I'd have to wait to switch into Politoed to get Rain back up. But what I do here is I just go for the Eerie Impulse into the Fini slot, and I go for the Max Overgrowth into the Fini slot as well. So it's not the worst case in the world, but he does switch out into the Magmortar here, so he actually reads the grass move, so good on him for that. He goes for the Fake Out into Raichu. That's kind of expected. Not getting that Eerie Impulse off kind of sucks, but the Max Overgrowth is actually doing quite a bit. So I can kind of tell that he's probably not AV there. I really couldn't tell, but it looks like it's not AV. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. So here's the thing, guys. Okay, this was not a read. I literally promise this was not a read. I went for the Eerie Impulse into the Magmortar slot, and I was going to target down the Sableye, expecting him to max guard with the Magmortar here. So I went for a middle ground play, because if he doesn't max guard here, I get the Eerie Impulse off, and he's not doing anything to me. And then I get to bring down, or I get to try and take out the Sableye really quick. So This was not a read. I promise I did not expect this at all. He actually goes for the ally switch here. So, you know, this Max Geyser is not going into the Sableye. It's going straight into the Magmortar that he just Dynamaxed. So, I got pretty lucky there. Nukes the Magmortar. That was not a read. I just want to reiterate that. That was complete luck. I feel like I could have been in a decent spot regardless. That Max Flare probably would have hurt a little bit. If it did hit, or depends on what he went for. I don't really know what he went for. He probably had some sort of move to hit the Raichu. That's what I don't really know. I haven't seen any of his sets or anything like that, so just a guess. So now I pretty much, after killing his Dynamax and knowing that he only has Finny and Sableye, assuming the Sableye doesn't have any attacking moves, I pretty much have his game in the bag. I just have to try and whittle down this type of Finny really quick. So I'm just going for grass moves into it, and I'm just going to Eerie Impulse because I have no reason to reveal any other information at this point. I'm thinking ahead to game 2. So he's just going to ally switch and kind of stall this game. It's going to be a little bit of a stall. It's all good though. It's all good. I get it. He's not really in the best position to win here. Even if he gets a bunch of crits and stuff like that, he's really not. And I'm assuming he's Light Clay, so he probably has Reflect. I don't know if he has Protect, but you can assume that he has Reflect on there. And if he's just Light Clay, Light Screen, I applaud him because that's one flaw that I saw in my team, actually. It's that my team is kind of special oriented. I've been trying to fix that with transactions and stuff like that, but for the most part, my team, like my main modes are kind of special oriented, like Lele Thievel, pretty special, as well as my rain mode. So good on him for recognizing that. Rain stops here, so I just switch Raichu out, go into Politoed to get the rain back up, while also preserving differential. So here I'm just clicking Giga Drain into the Finny. Ludicolo put in a lot of work this game, the rain mode specifically, and it's just, I haven't really gotten a chance to use the rain mode yet. This is week 4 and I'm finally bringing out Ludicolo. It's just the matchups beforehand weren't really the best for Ludicolo specifically, so Ludicolo struggles to get calcs. Anybody who's used Ludicolo knows that. So you kind of need the Life Orb on it, and if defensively I can't handle what my opponent has, I'm just not going to bring it because I have other modes that work better, if not the same, or like as good, or if not better than this rain mode. So Ludicolo Politoed's it's pretty common though, I have to say, especially with Celesteela teams. I want to give a shout out to Matt though, because he used a team very similar to this in the MDL. He had Celesteela, Raichu, Rain Mode, but he had different things like Grimmsnarl and Archeops and Pelipper and stuff like that. So he had a lot of different options on that team. I did kind of a reiteration of that team. I had a Lele Thievel mode with this, so it's not quite his team, and I have a lot of different pieces in my lower tiers. But you know, it is what it is. I just really like the idea, and Celesteela was available to me. I think I was pick number 5, and I just snagged it. So, anyways, we take game 1 pretty convincingly, thanks to the lucky Max Geyser into the Dynamax Magmortar. So, after that, I pretty much secured that game. Moving on to game 2. I'm thinking about doing the same thing. I don't really know how to go about this though. The worst case scenario, the way that I would think that he would try and adjust to Ludicolo Politoed is probably Armaldo plus Bulu or Armaldo plus Sableye. I feel like those are probably the best options. So I felt like doing Celesteela Raichu into Armaldo Sableye is actually a decent lead matchup for me, because then I can just suffer the fake out onto the Raichu, probably get OHKO'd by a max Rockfall or a max Ground, and then hit a big Steel Spike into the Armaldo slot. So that's kind of what I go for here. I think I just max Steel Spike into the Armaldo slot, and then I think I Volt Switch here, expecting oh wait, no, I think I go for Charm here, don't I? I think I went for Charm into the Sableye slot to cover for the ally switch. So worst case, he ally switches and I get a charm off into the Armaldo, and I bring Sableye down to Sash, most likely. At this point in the game, I didn't know what item it was, but it actually is Sash. I did not know that. So worst case, he actually just ally switches and max rock falls into the Raichu and probably kills it, or max quakes or whatever. But if he max quakes, I'm Sash, so he probably just max rock fall here. He actually doesn't Dynamax, he just goes for straight for protect, and I'm completely okay with that because now I'm boosting my Celesteela, and I essentially get a guaranteed weakness policy proc next turn. So I'm actually pretty okay with that. Plus I'm at +1 defense with Celesteela, and I know that I have Politoed in the back, so in case he has the Magmortar or the Luxray in the back, I know I have the Ludicolo as well to outspeed either of those, as well as the rain support for the max flare from either Luxray or Magmortar. So he actually goes for Rain Dance here. So I'm expecting him just to go for like a Rock Slide or something like that with the Armaldo. But then my Raichu actually outspeeds the Armaldo, so I was pretty confused here because I was expecting like a Rock Slide. That was like the only way that he could have prevented my Volt Switch, was either like doubling into Raichu or getting a flinch with Rock Slide. Either way, I was okay with the outcome here. I didn't know going into Ludicolo here would have been greedy if he just went for a bug move into the Raichu slot. I didn't know what he was going to do here, so he actually just went for a Stomping Tantrum. So I could have gone Ludicolo there and been a really good spot, but I didn't. I went to Politoed to be safe. So I actually Steel Spike into the Sableye slot to cover for the ally switch again. And he's Sash, so I bring him down to Sash. So now I'm actually going to cover for the ally switch again, thinking that he's just going to protect the Armaldo here. So I go for the Airstream into the Sableye, which is pretty good. I feel like it covers most options, and nothing really wants to take a +2 Airstream from anything. So I go for the Scald into the Armaldo slot. I felt like it was a pretty safe play. He reveals the Pasho Berry, which is great because now he just doesn't have it, and he dies to another Scald from Ludicolo in the rain, or Politoed in the rain. So get the Airstream off, get the speed boost on the Celesteela, which is nice. Sableye goes down, so I don't have to worry about those shenanigans anymore, so it's pretty much just straight up. I know if I see Luxray / Magmortar here, I pretty much win with Ludicolo in the back. I just have to play optimally, and I can pretty much let Celesteela go down here and just win with Ludicolo in the back. So my whole plan here is just to stall out this max that's probably coming out of this Magmortar right here. The way I win this game is basically letting Celesteela go down while wasting turns of max, and getting Politoed back in while he's Dynamaxed, and try and cripple the Magmortar with the Eerie Impulse. So that's if he Dynamax. So he actually does Dynamax here, and I know I can live at least one max flare from this Magmortar in the sun if I protect with Celesteela, unless he crits me. So barring a crit, I pretty much live here. And if I don't live here, worst case, I just come in with Politoed and I just try and cripple it down with Raichu. It is what it is if I don't, but I live with the Celesteela. He goes for the X-Scissor into the Raichu, almost KOs me. Thank God he didn't, because that would have been bad. So I know I outspeed this Armaldo here because I am +1, but I want to go for the Air Slash into the Magmortar. I'm kind of predicting a Protect here out of the Armaldo, or like a switch out. So I just pretty much double into the Magmortar here with the Eerie Impulse Air Slash. And I actually have some speed on the Celesteela to outspeed some Magmortar sets, and I actually see that he definitely has some speed investment on that Magmortar, which is good to know. I still don't know the item on it, it's whatever. So I let Celesteela Raichu go down here, and that Magmortar is at -2, which is pretty cool. And then I'm actually going to come in with my Rain Mode and cripple it even more. So I'm actually, even though he has a max Magmortar in my face with a potentially Swift Swim Armaldo here, I'm actually in a pretty good spot. So I just go for the Scald into the Magmortar and the Scald with the Ludicolo and Armaldo, because I'm actually EV'd outspeed max speed Swift Swim Armaldo in the rain with this Ludicolo set. So the targeting here I think is correct, just to confirm that this Armaldo cannot KO my Ludicolo with the X-Scissor. So I could totally get greedy here and go for the Scald into Magmortar, but that wouldn't be correct targeting, because then the Armaldo would just KO my Ludicolo, which is my win cone. So I pretty much Scald into the Magmortar slot with the Politoed. I don't really have much investment on this Politoed, but still, that actually does quite a bit to this Bulu. I don't know what item it is, but it's doing enough. So he overgrowths into my Politoed. I was not expecting overgrowth on this, but it works because he's -2, and I have the Rindo Berry on the Politoed, so it's pretty nice. Scald does big damage to the Magmortar, as you can see there. So I know that since his max is pretty much over, I can pretty much win as long as I target right. So based on that damage from the Scald, I can tell this Bulu is not Assault Vest. So I actually have no idea what this set was. However, I just protect Politoed. I think I protect Politoed here, expecting a Energy Ball or Giga Drain or whatever he has into the Politoed slot. And then I Ice Beam into the Bulu. Also predicting a Protect. I think the Protect from Magmortar here is pretty obvious. So I just go for the Ice Beam into the Bulu, trying to get some damage on it. So he does Protect with the Magmortar, which is exactly what I thought. I have no idea what this Bulu is going to go for. So I just Ice Beam into it, and as you can see, it actually picks up the KO. I don't know if that was a roll. I don't really know the calc on that, but I can assume that he's not AV after that. So right now I'm in a very, very good spot. After seeing the Bulu go down and seeing my Ludicolo pretty much at full HP, I pretty much know I have this game on lock. All I have to do is pretty much Scald in this Armaldo here with the Ludicolo to make sure I outspeed it. And then I Scald into the Magmortar slot with the Politoed, because I can, as you can see, that damage before when it was Dynamax just did way too much. And I know it's a guaranteed KO. So kill the Armaldo there, and then he Hyper Beams into Ludicolo. You don't really see that animation every day, so that's kind of cool. So I Scald with the I'm sorry, dude, I am all over the place right now. This commentary is trash. I'm so sorry. It is so trash. Anyways, I basically just Scald with the Politoed there into the Magmortar and pretty much just win the game there. So this game pretty much came down to me realizing my win conditions and playing around them the best I could. It also came down to me just having decent enough prep to cripple whatever Dynamax option the opponent went for, Yasha. Pretty much just Eerie Impulse into it. I put Charm on there too, on the Raichu, just in case they tried to max like Luxray or something like that. I don't know why you max Luxray in the face of a Raichu, but just in case, you can never be too safe with Draft League stuff. So anyways, I felt like that was a pretty good showing of my team. I think that at 3-1 now, I'm sitting pretty high in the standings, thankfully. So I don't know how the rest of the season's gonna go, but just expect more videos from your boy. Glad to be back. I really am. Sorry if the commentary was kind of shaky. Just first time in what? It's been like 5.5 months, 5-6 months, something like that since the last one. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all y'all coming out, supporting your boy. I'm glad to be back in the GLDL, baby. 3-1, looking to make it 4-1 next week. I don't know who I'm playing, but I'll figure that out soon. I'll update you guys when we play. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Shout out to everybody in the GLDL. Shout out Wakeman, GGD Asha, and have a good night, guys. Bye.